Aston Villa 2, Manchester United 1. And I feel like this was probably the most painful defeat that we've suffered this season. Right on par with the Everton defeat, but for entirely different reasons. I mean, imagine starting with a mid four of Patrick Dorgu, Manuel Ugarte, Diogo Dallo, and Bruno Fernandes, creating the kind of chances that we did, basically over promising with the kind of chances that we did, and then ending up losing the game in the fashion that we did. I don't believe it. I mean, someone like Patrick Dorgu, who I would have expected to be the weak link in this side, created a goal out of absolutely nothing. Got the ball back in the position where you'd not expect him to, honestly, pressing up so high. Matty Cash obviously fumbled that chance, and then Cunha with a beautiful goal. And then the same Cunha somehow misses a sitter from 4 yards out by as much of a margin as he did. A beautiful long range shot from like 3 miles out or something. The only chances that Aston Villa had were those two chances from Morgan Rogers. I mean, sure, there were a couple of other half chances, but Aston Villa did not look like they'd actually come out to play a game of football. It looked like they were happy, just like sauntering about as if it was a walk in the park. In fact, if I did not know better, I'd probably say that West Ham showed more of an intent against United. So did Everton when they laid back, played an extremely low block, because Aston Villa did not look like they wanted to take those chances. It is mind numbing how that side somehow does that every single game. It is basically 10 wins on the trot, 7 Premier League wins in a row for Aston Villa. And we're not going to go into the numbers for this one because every single statistic, including possession, including the number of forward passes, the number of whatever take-ons, passes in the final third. In fact, they had like 100 more passes than Villa, more shots on target. Everything was better except the one that matters, which is goals. And we've seen this tale far too many times to know that United is a side that will have their chances. They will for sure somehow, even with the lack of quality they had yesterday, they will be able to create chances. And yet, as always, they will not be able to take enough chances to get into that lead. And then, obviously, somehow, through individual mistakes, through some stupidity at the back, they'll end up conceding goals, which eventually cost them. And I feel like the Villa game just epitomizes that being, I think, United's most important problem. Not the system, not the players, just the fact that they're so unclinical. And the fact that those individual mistakes at the back just keep coming game after game after game. I feel like against Bournemouth, obviously, it was Aiden Heaven and the entire defense in general for being so spread out. In that game, obviously, I feel like Bournemouth were more on the counter. They were attacking on the press, which is why I think United were playing a back three. They never got that chance to kind of have all 5 men at the back. Whereas this game, Aston Villa was playing such a low block. As we discussed in the preview, they're a team that loves to hold the ball for long periods of time and then create those chances. This time they did not have any chances. It's like United gave the ball away near the midfield a couple of times. I feel like Ollie Watkins had a good half chance, which he failed to turn onto his right foot and shoot. And then I feel like Rogers had another half chance in the first half. But both of the balls where Roger found himself in space, he should have been closed down. I feel like there is no communication in that back three of United, and this time a back five, mind you, because there was no element of press, there was no element of United being on ahead in the final third when Villa basically had those attacks that led to the goals. Rogers was in so much space. We know that he loves taking his shots. He scored from a direct free kick this season, and now he scores two more in the exact same fashion. The second one, I don't think there's any excuse. I mean, the second one, Euro should not be putting in that tackle if he's not 100% certain that he's going to win it. He misses, and then there's absolutely no one to close in around an advancing Morgan Rogers. And from that littler distance, with the kind of quality that he has on his right foot, I don't think he was ever gonna miss. Like the moment that happened, every United fan had that gut wrenching feeling that, oh good lord, we've seen this story way too many times. United is gonna trail, and that's obviously what happened. The first goal, obviously, again, it's like the ball is far away, it's outside the box, but Rogers loves taking a shot. He should be closed down. There's obviously no glaring error in that moment. No one sort of lost the ball, or no one kind of slipped or like just gave the ball away. But I mean, having so much space near the opposition's box when you love taking a long range shot. Imagine Cunha having that kind of space. He did in the first half. I think someone in the Villa defense just gave the ball away, and Cunha almost scored. That is the kind of quality that Rogers has, and we know that it's as good a crime as literally giving the ball away to him and asking him to shoot. The other harrowing event of the game, I mean, of all the players who could have caught a hammy, Bruno Fernandes limped off the field around halftime and was not seen again in the second half. From what Amarim says, he could be out as long as a month. They're still running tests. He definitely will miss the next couple of games. Bruno was the one shining light in the midfield, and honestly, to give due credit to Lisandro Martinez, who came right after replacing Ugarte, he had a beautiful game. I feel like it's almost like you couldn't make out that this guy usually plays as a centre back in his natural role. This guy was amazing. And coming to that in the moment, Casemiro was obviously absent because of his yellow. Ugarte had an absolute stinker. He did nothing the entire game. Fairly taken off for Lisandro Martinez, who I wouldn't be surprised to see start the next game alongside alongside Casemiro. I th- I mean, I just feel like bad news keeps on piling. Suddenly, injuries have entirely started to mar United. From what seemed like a single injury to Shesko long back, both of our centre backs were ruled out shortly after. Casemiro took the yellow, obviously wasn't present for this game, and now it's Bruno, who is again out for at least a month. Shesko was back, obviously far away from his clinical best. Those two chances in the first half, one of them should have been finished. To make matters worse, from what we hear, Kobe Menu also will not start, or in fact will not feature against Newcastle on Boxing Day. His injury, which seems to be like a calf injury, he hasn't recovered fully from it. Talking about whatever little we can take back from this game, I feel like there were a couple of positives. One, obviously, like we discussed, being Lisandro Martinez making that central midfield position his own. I feel like this move, where he sort of basically just grabs the ball from an advancing Kamara right near the Aston Villa box and takes that shot on his left, just gives you that feeling that this guy wants to play for United, wants to be in that side every single game, and he doesn't care if he's returning from an injury. In some ways, that has led him to actually get injured really quick, but in this case, it just shows you that this guy absolutely needs to start every single game. He has that intent. He obviously has the talent, and that shot, because he right like I feel like right before that, like 10 seconds before that, he actually missed another shot where you feel that went too wide, and he had that willpower to take another similar shot which wasn't as wide this time. I feel like this is the kind of guy United needs to start in that central midfield. Ugarte is he's absolutely in a shambles. He needs to sit out. The other one being, and I never thought I'd say this in a million years, Patrick Dorgu winning the ball back, obviously playing the most important role in the first goal that United scored, and almost the second goal that Cunha missed with quite a good looping delivery, to be honest. Being playing a solid game for United, which is not something that he can boast of all that often. I feel like Dallo and Dorgu both were incredibly good yesterday. Dallo obviously looked way more comfortable on the right. Him being on the left is obviously not ideal, but given that the AFCON wing will be away for a bit, I feel like at least the next 2 to 3 games he is going to consistently start on the right. And after the sort of performance that Dorgu did put up yesterday, I feel like that left wing back position is also his for the taking. It's honestly quite unbelievable the way the game ended. Uh, United obviously after Bruno went did not have a lot to offer, barring that Cunha chance, barring a few balls here and there. Mount, I feel like he tried his best. He delivered a really good ball in, but Chesko was a little too far behind. But all in all, without that other creative influence of Bruno, of let's say Cunha supplying directly to him, I feel like Mount on his own is also a little short on the sort of quality that United demands, given the lack thereof in some of the other players. But obviously, no shade on Mount. I feel like he's just cementing himself. He's just gaining on confidence as he starts for United. And I feel like the next few games are quite ideal for him. I feel like he is going to be our man on the right, because Cunha looked at home on the left. He was running back. He was gathering the ball. He was taking those shots. He was delivering balls. I feel like he was doing his bit throughout the game. Quite disappointed. I feel like every United fan will be. And yet again, it's just like destiny keeps teasing United. At the end of the next 2 games, they will still have a chance of somehow making it to the top four if they are able to get all 6 points. They face Newcastle at home, after which they again face Wolves at home, which should hopefully be a guaranteed win. But with all these injuries, I feel like the onus is on the stalwarts of this side to deliver. New players like Lacey, obviously, who got a start, also Jack Fletcher, obviously, who got a start, did pretty well in the limited time they were there. One of them, at least, in my opinion, Shea Lacey, probably might get more minutes in the next game, in obviously in the absence of Kobe Mainu and Bruno, which they should look to capitalize on. But if United does not come back with 6 points from these 2 games, I feel like Liverpool definitely will, because I feel like they have two really good fixtures coming up. Leeds and West Ham, if I'm not wrong, but two really good home fixtures. Leeds, I feel, is away. But in any case, I feel like the sides around United now will not hold back to all of these draws that we are somehow delivering from games that we should be winning. This should be the last chance that United has before, I feel like, the new year will bring Man City, Arsenal again. Uh, Honestly, it's not looking very nice the way we squander leads, the way our defense falls apart at the slightest sight of inconvenience. But this is again the perfect chance to string a couple of wins together, get some momentum. If obviously United were to take it. See you again for the preview of the Newcastle home fixture for game week 18. For today, that's it. Thanks for watching.